Alrighty. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this live, so then it'll be recorded. And that way, if anybody in the comments has any questions, they can ask. But I'm gonna get started and get right in and into it. I've had friends my whole entire life. People don't know I am type 1 diabetic. I've been type 1 diabetic since I was 10 years old, and my dad died from type 2 diabetes. My sister has type 1 diabetes, and back when we were both diagnosed at she was 12 and I was 10. It was rare for two siblings back then to have type 1 diabetes. Now it is more common than ever for siblings to have it. So I'm going to go on ahead and answer a lot of questions and give some educational stuff. Probably not answer a lot of questions, probably just ramble because my whole entire life, people have asked me what the difference between type 1 and type 2 is. I've told them, and they seem to not understand, not to get it, and then they want to make ignorant jokes about diabetes. So we're going to get into it. My son, I'm waiting on his pizza to cook. So we're just going to get into it. I got me an educational book. So if you ask questions, I can probably get you your answers. Anyway, so what is insulin? Which is what everybody needs. Insulin is made in the body by an organ called the pancreas. It is basically used to produce our food, sugar, glucose, whatever you want to call it, into energy. That's basically what we need, you need, everybody needs to get energy into their bodies. It's stop talking. Sorry, my son is like trying to talk over me. And people ask me, okay, so there's two types of diabetes. Yes, there is type 1 diabetic, and there is there went my book. Type 2 diabetes. So, what is the difference between type 1 and type 2? Type 1 diabetes and people with type 2 diabetes is the pancreas of a person with type 1 diabetes stops making enough insulin. That is the difference. So type 1s are essentially type 2s that do not produce enough insulin. Ours is mainly managed by carb intake, not just by exercise. Whereas type 2, they're not producing enough insulin, but they're still producing insulin. And a diet and exercise as well as eating habits play. In type 2 diabetes, the pancreas can still make insulin, but not enough or the insulin doesn't not work like it should. So they're like insulin resistant a little bit more. I have insulin resistance, but I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. The type 1 diabetes, also known as T1D, childhood, juvenile, or insulin dependent diabetes, is due to not enough insulin made in the pancreas. The most common sites are frequent urination, polyuria, persistent thirst, polydipsia, and weight loss. For people with type 1 diabetes, insulin must be taken by injection or insulin pump. Insulin cannot be taken as a pill because the stomach acid would destroy it. Whereas type 2 diabetes tend to take pills. Type 1 diabetes has very high stomach acids, which is why a lot of us develop GERD. I found that out later on. So, fun fact if you want to know. Type 2, also known as T2D, adult onset or non-insulin dependent diabetes, is different from type 1 diabetes. Although the above symptoms may be present, there are often no symptoms at diagnosis. A diagnosis can be made using blood glucose values or A1C value. Insulin is still made, but not enough, or it doesn't work very well. People with type 2 diabetes can use pills sometimes, which are not insulin. Food management and exercise to manage diabetes. Eating healthy food and exercises are important for people with type 1 diabetes, but they will always need to take insulin shots. So as I said, it is important for us to eat healthy and exercise, but we will always take shots. Let's see. Type 1 diabetes. What causes diabetes? Type 1 diabetes is believed to be caused by by three things: genetic risk, a trigger in the environment, possibly a virus, and an autoimmunity or a self allergy. So, story time. My type 1 diabetes, which we have found out due to the severity of my allergies, is I'm allergic to myself. I also have a genetic risk. My dad, his mom, and his mom's mom all were pre-diabetic, diabetic, and diabetic. So I already had that genetic risk, but I also had a self-allergy. When I got diagnosed with, well, get your bear. Move. Thank you.
He chunked my bear.
Well, then keep your bear away from him. Sorry, guys.
Stay away from my bear.
You take the bear somewhere and put it up. Stop putting your bear where she can get to it because she's going to tear it up, Eric. She likes bears. Take it. My phone unplugged.
Stay away from my bear.
Well, put your bear up. And every time I try to record a video and the kids hear, they end up interrupting it because he does not understand. The dog doesn't understand. Nobody understands that I am on recording. Where'd you find a pancake? Oh, God, dog.
What you did?
It's a dog friendly pancake. It's just, I didn't realize she still had one left.
What you did?
Eric, stop. All right.
Oh my gosh. Bear, are you okay?
So, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by a child and a dog, I have the genetic risk and the self allergy. So, my immune system attacks my body. We learned that because when I get like the flu, my body will fight and then turn around and start attacking me. I get hives out of nowhere for no apparent reason. Um, my blood sugars and everything, I'm very resistant all the time. Even when I was weighing as a kid, and I'm allergic to a lot of the insulins. So mine is allergy based and genetic based. Genetic risk or inheritance comes from both mom and dad and can make someone more likely to get diabetes. Over half of the people who get type 1 diabetes have inherited from a gene combination HLA-DR3/DR4. One is from mom and one is from dad. Most people with genetic risk never get autoimmunity, but it is thought that a trigger in the environment can start the process in those risk with genes. Unfortunately, I did get it, but I still had the genetic thing. But it's not my mom and dad. It's only from my dad's side. So it's a little bit. Trigger from the environment, possibly a virus or other exposure. Having a certain gene makeup may allow a virus or other trigger. Give me 1 second, guys. I have to go get his food. Oh, so forget it, please. Give me get, get.
Bear, are you
Oh my goodness, Eric, are you okay?
there? Oh my God, bear.
Oh my gosh, Eric, are you okay? They are.
there.
No. What? Alright. Melted. Right here. Go here.